Welcome, friends, it's the Movie Film Podcast. The Movie Film Podcast, enjoy the show. Zaki and Brian are talking about movies. Movie Film Podcast on the radio.
Welcome to Movie Film. This is episode 104, brought to you by Mr. Boy Productions. My name is Zaki and joining me once again is my partner, Brian Hall.
How's it going, Zaki?
It's going, man. It's been a busy couple weeks.
Yeah, it has been.
So Bob's Burgers has premiered.
Yeah, Fluise. That did pretty well, too. Did well in the ratings, and, you know, I'm not going to lie, look at some of the reviews, and they all seem pretty positive. So, that, as we talked about in the last episode, that of our show, that episode of Bob's almost ran me into the ground, so...
Well, it's good to know that all that effort that you put in has at least been worth it.
Yeah, myself and everyone else. Everyone gave it their all, and hopefully it paid off.
Hopefully.
Yeah.
Anything else new and exciting?
Man, no, just keeping busy. It's funny because a little sneak preview into the show. Like, I haven't really been able to keep up with movies, but I've seen a lot of television. So it's going to be an entertainment film podcast. TV, movies, cover all the spectrums.
Well, we're expanding our focus as we do. You know, I mean, what we tend to do is usually at the beginning of the fall season, we do sort of dip into some new fall shows that are worth watching.
Yeah, for sure.
Or not worth watching, I guess.
Right. Yeah.
So, any new shows that have sort of caught your interest this season?
Let's start with Son of Zorn.
Okay, so Son of Zorn is this new show on Fox. It's part of the animation domination. And it stars Jason Sudeikis as Zorn.
Yes. This
kind of He-Man-esque character who has a son and he's animated, by the way. He's that's important. And his son is live action.
Right. Like the whole world is, except for when he's on his home island, apparently.
Yes. And
so it's sort of a Who Framed Roger Rabbit
Exactly.
situation.
There you go. And his ex-wife is played by Cheryl Hines.
Yep.
And so So I just watched the pilot, but he moves back to the real world to be a father to his son.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the show, right?
Well, yeah, you know, and when I saw the previews for this, I was on board. Like, I liked it. Was just so weird that I appreciated that it existed, and I was ready. I was ready to give this thing a go, and I just was disappointed because I felt like whatever you saw in the trailer, which is he's a barbarian, he doesn't know any better, kind of a thing, like it which is sort of like an SNL sketch of an idea, you know, like if animated He-Man had to work in an office, you know, that's like a good 3 minutes of material there, or 5 minutes of material. And unfortunately, I felt like the pilot didn't go much further than that.
Yes.
And I think it has the capability to, and it had, you know, Tim Meadows, who is awesome. And like anytime I see Tim Meadows in something, I get happy.
Sure.
You know, because he's so good at what he does, and I just want to see more Tim Meadows. And he plays such an interesting, subdued, but sort of weird guy. And he's now dating Zorn's ex-wife. And so there's this funny sort of conflict there. And then the kid feels sort of abandoned by him, but feels abandoned by this animated barbarian, you know, which is kind of weird. And so I was hoping for more. And I know pilots are difficult because they have a lot to set up. And then, you know, they either take off or they don't, but it was hard for me to want to come back. I kind of had a hard time getting through the whole first pilot.
Yeah.
Because like I said, it just felt like I got it like 5 minutes in, and it didn't do anything to, different.
There is enough juice in this concept for a sketch.
Yes.
Like you said, of something, SNL something. And the idea that they would turn it into a series, like I was exhausted just thinking of that.
Yeah.
And when you think about it, there's nothing in the execution of the show that necessitates Zorn being an animated character.
Yeah.
Because the other characters don't acknowledge it. There's no, you know what I mean?
That's a good point. And I mean, like it's not like I want him to be able to do cartoon magic necessarily.
Right.
But at the same time, yeah.
Like, what's the point of him being a cartoon? They're not like, oh, you're a cartoon. Like, it isn't that Who Framed Roger Rabbit thing.
Yeah, because that's what's funny about the Toons is they can't die.
Right.
Yeah, and they toy with all the Toon conventions and whatnot, and yeah, that's a good point. I didn't even think of that because, I don't know why this came to mind, but there's a pilot called Heat, Vision, and Jack. Have you ever heard of that?
Yes. Yeah, with Jack Black.
Yeah, and he plays a soul of a person that gets put into a motorcycle. No. I'm sorry. Owen Wilson, right, is the motorcycle.
Yes.
And Jack Black, I think, owns him. And it's sort of this weird Knight Rider thing. And it's funny because it's hard to imagine it actually being a good series. But as this weird oddity online for 22 minutes, it's kind of fun to watch.
Right.
And that's what I feel like Zorn could have been. Like this kind of cool, interesting 22-minute thing that maybe would have gotten the writers or the creators more work. Or so, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It sounds really harsh what I'm saying right now.
No, but I agree with you.
I think, well, and it comes from Phil Lord and Chris Miller, which is interesting.
And I think we were expecting a little more because of that.
Because currently they seem to have the golden touch, right? I mean, between the Lego movie and they're doing the Han Solo movie. And I mean, to be fair, they didn't create this show. I think they just sort of executive produced it. So kind of
put their names on it. In essence.
And who's to say? I mean, I would be interested to talk to someone who really liked it. And maybe I haven't tuned back. You know, maybe it finds its footing along the way. But it didn't do a whole lot for me.
Kind of disappointing.
Yeah.
Speaking of disappointing, and I don't think you've seen this, but I watched the pilot episode of the new MacGyver.
No, I did not see it. So tell me.
MacGyver. So you might remember, several months ago, we discussed the sizzle reel that CBS had put out for the new MacGyver.
Yes.
And in the aftermath of us just soundly shitting all over that extended trailer, we just lined up to take a bat to it. CBS went back to formula, so they scrapped it. And they brought in James Wan, and they created a whole new pilot because they're like, clearly something's off. We need to go back to scratch.
Right.
And they did, and it didn't work.
So, what is it? What is the show?
It still stars Lucas Till. They gave him a haircut, so he has slightly less douchey hair.
Yeah.
Slightly. George Eads from CSI is still there, and we've talked before about how you can tell what network a show is on just by looking at its aesthetic, and this is like a textbook example of that because the original MacGyver aired on ABC, and even now it looks like a show that aired on NBC.
Wait, it was on ABC, but it looks like an NBC show?
An ABC show.
ABC show. Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about.
The original MacGyver.
Yeah.
This one, you watch 5 minutes of it and you're like, oh, this is a CBS show.
Yeah.
And now I don't want to hoist up the original MacGyver like it's Waiting for Guffman or something, but it's or Waiting for Godot. I mean, sorry, not Waiting for Guffman.
I was like, what an interesting.
Yeah, I meant Waiting for Godot. Waiting for Godot. It's not high art, but it was good at being what it was.
Yeah, and it was a different era, and that's kind of what shows were then.
Yeah, I mean, the original MacGyver was a response to Miami Vice and Rambo and stuff, and I get that, and I do think there's a place for that.
Mm-hmm. Always.
And so the fact that they're bringing it back is not like, I know some people were like, how dare they? This is sacrilege, and I never thought of it that way. I'm like, if there's a good take, then do it.
Yeah.
This is again, it's the CBS CSI version of MacGyver, and so you have these scenes where MacGyver's like doing his things, his MacGyverisms, But the studio assumes that we're drooling morons now. So it'll do this thing where, like, it'll have MacGyver doing stuff, and there's little, like, digital labels that show up on screen.
Stop.
On everything he's doing.
Stop.
Yeah. So it'll be like, tape, and it'll be like, it says tape on the screen, and then like plaster chips, and it says plaster chips, and and I'm like, we can see what he's doing.
That
like,
is
I'm not an
so
idiot.
Lame.
Yeah. And if you remember the old show, like while he was doing stuff, it would be his narration.
Yeah.
And that was enough. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Here it's narration plus, in case you're a moron, here's a label. And I'm like, if you don't know what Scotch tape is, I don't think the label is going to do much for you, If you can't tell Scotch tape on sight.
Does it do like an annoying, whenever there's like a digital scroll or text that goes across the bottom where it's like...
Kind of. It makes these little noises. It's like a video game.
That is so weird.
Yeah, I mean, that's, that's what I can only assume, that they're trying to give it like a video game look.
Yeah.
But, so that annoyed me within the first 5 minutes.
I wasn't going to watch it anyway, but honestly, that would like be pretty close to a deal breaker for me.
Yeah,
I feel
for me,
so annoyed.
They did it once. I was like, all right, I don't know about this. And they did it again, like within 5 minutes, and I turned it off. I was like, okay, I'm done.
Man.
Yeah.
Well, it's so weird because I try not to be like a snob about this, but like I don't tend to like network TV shows, and I think it's
pretty snobby, Brian.
Well, I think the reason is I've sort of fallen out of step with them.
Sure.
Because like you said, they all have, each network even has their own sort of storytelling voice.
Yes.
And I've gotten into like all these other shows that just have such different voices that when I go back, I sort of forget. I've forgotten, which will sort of lead us into our next show we're going to talk about. It felt a little jarring to me to go back to a network TV show because it had literally been so long since I had actually watched a network procedural.
Right.
You know what I mean? And so it doesn't mean they can't be good. They can be, network can have great television. I mean, Lost, say what you will about the end, but Lost was excellent television. And 24, I would say, was at its height, excellent television. So it can be done, but you just wonder why so many times they sort of settle for the lowest common denominator. But at the same time, CBS is the most successful network. So they obviously have tapped into something and they know what they're doing, or at least who they're trying to reach out to, and apparently it's working. So I mean,
they know their audience.
Yeah, I mean, I guess in some
they
ways
have
you
an
can't argue with
audience that cannot tell tape on sight.
Yeah, I mean, they're doing it right for someone, and it's not us.
It's not us.
Yeah.
Now for this next show, and I haven't discussed this with you, but speaking personally, I have to kind of issue a mea culpa because I saw the trailer for Lethal Weapon.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, that looks like, soiled ass.
Yeah.
And it I gotta be honest, I watched the pilot and I liked it.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, wait a minute. Hold on a second. Who directed this? Mick G directed this? Mick G directed this remake of a beloved movie? And I liked it, and I did like it. And then I watched the second film, just the second episode, and I liked the second episode.
Yeah.
And I think I like the Lethal Weapon TV series, Brian.
What is happening?
I don't understand what's going on. No, did you see it?
I did.
What did you think of it?
Man. I liked it too! What's happening?
Seriously?
Yeah.
I didn't know that. I didn't.
Yeah, we haven't talked about it, but I watched the pilot, and I was like, yeah, this isn't so bad. And then the hardest part of this, of course, is they're the same characters. They're not like the sons of Riggs and Murtaugh. They are Riggs and Murtaugh.
Yeah,
and they're not Danny Glover, and they're not Mel Gibson. So it's like, how's this going to go?
Yes.
And I will admit, every now and then, Clayne Crawford, who plays Martin Riggs, every now and then he'll kind of get on my nerves.
Sure.
And only because I see an actor trying to play a crazy person.
Okay.
Which is not an easy thing to do. You know what I mean? Like, to look like a loose cannon all the time, and like you got to do that hoo, but like in talking like that,
right?
And just go because he's crazy. So every now and then that'll grate on me. But at the same time, that stuff aside, 2 episodes in, I really like them together.
Right. That's exactly
right. And like the
yeah.
pilot was like pretty good, and that's what I said when I had to make sort of an adjustment back to network TV. And also, I would say it also from a story that I'm familiar with in movie form that's like 2 hours. I was like, we are just breezing through this story right now. It felt really fast. And then even the second week, I realized whatever the crime of the week was, I didn't care at all about the crime. And actually, I don't even know that the show did, if you really think about it. I mean, it was
I agree.
Literally like some girl was on the run and then she wasn't. It really didn't matter because it was all about...
pretty generic.
Yeah, I mean, and not even... It probably added up to like 8 minutes total. But like it was really more about how it affects Riggs and Murtaugh, and I really enjoyed them together a lot. And then them learning about each other and like sort of the journey that it's taken so far with that, I thought has all been pretty successful. And even the police chief, I wondered what he was going to be like, and he's not the hot-blooded, screaming, cliche. He's I can't remember the guy's name, but he's from Mad Men. But anyway, he's like this whole different sort of
Kevin Rom.
Yeah, like sort of calmer, younger take, but he still gets sort of flustered and frustrated with them, just in a different way. And
if you remember the captain in the original film, Steve Kahn, he was like that.
Yeah, it's just a different presence, I guess, is what I'm trying to say. But
it's not like you said. It's not get those guys in here. He's not.
Yeah,
it's not that and
sit your asses down. Like,
yeah,
it's not like
right.
That. But it works.
Well, it's just I enjoy like the pilot ended, and I'm like, would I want to hang out with these two guys every week? And the answer was yes.
Yeah.
So I'm as shocked as you, Brian.
Yeah, and it had a couple of those sort of what you would, I guess, call it like cliche buddy cop, Lethal Weapon-y moments, but they were all funny. Like I actually laughed. Like there's I'll just spoil it because you can't spoil this stuff. But like they're in some warehouse, and the show starts off with like the tab that they're racking up by all their destruction.
Right.
And they have this little banter in between, where it's just like, well, that's not me. We need to start separate tabs,
Right.
And then at the end, they end up blowing up like a truck full of fireworks. And like all these fireworks are shooting up into the sky, and you see their chief looking out the window of the police station across town.
Way out in the distance.
Way out in the distance, he sees these fireworks, and he's just like, where are Riggs and Murtaugh?
Right.
And I laughed out loud. I was like, that's what this is. That's what this is supposed to be.
Yes.
And again, I think if it has any weakness, it's its TV-ness.
Yes, I agree.
Like it's the way that it has to adhere to that.
Yeah.
But the characters succeed, and that will keep me. For now, it'll keep me coming back. For
now, yeah, I agree with you. I think when they focus on the banter and the repartee between, and you were kind of critiquing Clayne Crawford, and I agree with that critique. But I will say he has surprised me because I do find a lot of pathos in his performance. I
totally agree. I really do mean that. Like he's doing a good job creating a new take on this character. It's just like I said, sometimes it's hard watching someone try to do a "I'm talking crazy now" voice.
Right.
If you know what I mean.
I 100% agree.
Yeah, but he does the serious stuff well. He does the like busting chops thing well.
Yeah, and Damon Wayans is Damon Wayans.
Yeah, and I wondered what he would be like too, right? Because he, Damon Wayans, he might be the same age as Danny Glover when they made the first one. I have no idea. I was gonna say he seems younger, but
that's a good point.
Who's to say? But I wondered if he would want to not come off as like a square. So maybe he would come off a little differently, and I feel like they found a really good take on. He's cautious, but he still, has adventure. It seeks adventure, right? Like they found like a good balance. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it absolutely does.
Yeah.
So Danny Glover was born in 1946.
Okay.
So Lethal 1 came out in 1986.
Yeah.
So that would have made him 40?
40? Wow, holy crap.
He was 40 in the first Lethal Weapon? Is that right? Wait, is my math wrong? No, that's right?
Yeah, you're right. 40?
Wait, hold on. So Murtaugh was like 2 years older than us? The
Speak
old
for
guy?
yourself, I'm 28.
Now, Damon Wayans right now is 56.
This is funny because I know we're supposed to be talking right now, but I need a moment.
Yeah, wait.
I can't process this. He was 16 years older than Danny Glover was in the first Lethal Weapon?
That's exactly right.
Wow.
Wow, really? Yeah, I know, right?
Hmm.
And so Mel Gibson was 30 in the first Lethal Weapon.
Wow.
Mel Gibson was 30, and Clayne Crawford is 38.
Huh.
Right now.
I bet this is interesting to 38% of our audience.
I think you're overestimating how. No, but that's crazy though.
I'm fascinated by this.
How is it that I'm almost 10 years older than Riggs?
Yeah, man, that's funny. Anyway, well, wait, what was that was the plot of the first one? Was Murtaugh's birthday
in the first movie?
Yeah, do they say that age?
That's a good question. It is his birthday. I don't believe they say his age.
Okay.
But he's 40 and he's getting too old for this shit.
Yeah. He's not too old for any shit of any kind at that that point.
That's so crazy. Oh my gosh.
Anyway. Well,
he's like about to retire in the first one. No. Well, check this. So Murtaugh is 50 in the film.
Okay.
But he's 40
Played
in
by
real
a
life.
40-year-old. Okay, that makes way more sense.
Yes.
Maybe they grade him up too, I wonder.
Yeah, I guess that would make sense. Yeah, actually, because Predator 2, he looked younger in that.
Oh, funny.
Right?
Okay.
Anyway, sorry. Sorry, folks. We dove down a rabbit hole of depression.
Yeah. Well, anyway, all that to say, so far, so good. I mean, it's, I don't think it's going to blow anyone's mind, but I think people will be surprised that it's better than they expected.
That's exactly right. You should expect something that's appealingly formulaic.
Yeah.
That's what I would say.
Yeah.
So that's Lethal Weapon. I do want to mention real quickly, Luke Cage dropped this weekend, and that's the latest Marvel/Netflix series. It's the third after Daredevil and Jessica Jones, and I really, really enjoyed this. I haven't seen the whole series yet, but I'm about halfway through, and really different and fun, and got a unique flavor to it. And if you haven't seen it, I'm assuming if you're listening to this show, you're either aware of it or have already seen it, but in case you haven't, it gets a recommendation from me.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah, and hey, I was going to ask you, did you see Westworld?
No, not yet. Should have in preparation for this show, but it's something I'm eagerly anticipating. It's in my DVR. I just haven't had an opportunity.
Yeah, I really want to check that out.
I've been sort of side-eyeing reviews, just sort of to get people's takes on it, but it sounds like.
Seems like
people are pretty
word of
intrigued.
Mouth is pretty good, yeah.
It's interesting, actually, for people who have seen it. Speaking as an outsider to that, I'm noticing positive reviews, but I'm also noticing a lot of articles being written about it. Almost like people. I don't know if it is or if people are wanting it to be a very talked about show. You know what I'm saying? Stranger Things, I think, caught people by surprise. And people just really wanted to talk about it because they were so into it. And this one, I don't know if it came prepackaged that way. Like HBO is encouraging this, like, get people talking about this thing. Or if people are naturally this intrigued by what they saw in the first episode. I mean, that has me interested.
I think that with the caliber of talent both in front of and behind the camera, it's almost impossible for this not to be a talked about series.
Right.
I mean, we got Ed Harris and Anthony Hopkins. Evan Rachel Wood, I think, is in it.
Mm-hmm.
And then, of course, J.J. Abrams, Jonah Nolan. I mean, pretty top-tier people behind this show,
Yeah. Well, next episode will be maybe 2 in, maybe 3, so we'll be able to comment on it then, yeah.
Yeah. Have you ever seen the original movie?
I have.
That's an interesting... it's well regarded by many, but it, in my opinion, doesn't hold up especially well.
No, it shows its age for sure.
Yeah. For those of you who haven't seen it, it's written and directed by Michael Crichton, and now stay with me on this. It's about a theme park that caters to things that you've never seen before, but things go awry and the attractions turn against the guests.
And not only that, but it transports the visitors into a time period from the past.
That's right.
non-existent time.
So Michael Crichton was never one to let a good idea go. Even if he already used it.
Yeah, which is funny because I didn't realize growing up that the Itchy and Scratchy Land episode of The Simpsons is really more based on Westworld than it is Jurassic Park.
Yes,
because they have the
that's
whole
right.
bunker underground with the scientists creating the
That's
robots,
exactly.
and I wish they wouldn't scream and all that. I mean, that's all Westworld, which I had no idea.
See, it's funny. This shows what a big dork I was as a kid, because when I saw that episode, I was like, "Oh, they're doing Westworld."
You never cease to amaze me, Zaki.
Yeah, and we're the same age, so there's really so, like, how old were we when that episode aired?
Probably like mid-90s.
Yeah, so I would have been like 13, 14.
Yeah.
Maybe, yeah, I was like, "Oh, Westworld," and then I turned around and I had gotten a wedgie somehow, instantly. But yeah, it stars Yul Brynner, and it's not bad by any means, but this is definitely from what I see, anyway, I haven't seen it yet, but it's a new take on that premise. That's what makes me curious about it.
Yeah, and the whole idea of stretching it out too, for what you would assume they would be prepared for multiple seasons. That has me intrigued also.
That's I'm wondering if there's enough juice in the premise to turn it into a multi-year project as they're planning.
Yeah, I hope so.
Well, and speaking of Jonah Nolan and J.J. Abrams, I mean, they previously collaborated on Person of Interest.
Right, which you were a big fan of.
A big fan of, and it ended. It just ended this previous season, and so I want to put it out there both to you and to our listeners. Check it out, because you've got this really cool, compelling arc-based series that comes to a pretty satisfying conclusion, in my opinion.
That's great.
Yeah. So I know, Brian, you've never seen it, right?
I haven't.
So it's on Netflix, and it is a CBS show, as we discussed. But I think that it's a show that really rewarded those who stuck around and watched the long game.
Mm-hmm.
And like I said, I think that if you stick, it's good right from the start. But as the show progresses, it becomes more and more serialized. And it wraps up in a way that I felt was like, wow, that was a really good ending. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So highly recommend that.
Nice.
Yeah. So those are new TV shows. I don't know. Have you seen anything else? Oh, you know what? One show that I did enjoy, Designated Survivor.
I want to check that out because
Yes.
I like Kiefer Sutherland, and the concept sounds like a gret movie.
Yeah. So for those of you who don't know, so the way this works.
Okay, you know what? If they don't know, they don't know. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah. What do you think of that, people? So every time the president delivers an address to, both houses of Congress or whatever, anything that requires, a show of force by government, there's one person from within the chain of succession, and the chain of succession to the presidency is very long, and it includes the cabinet and whatnot. So there's one person at random who's chosen to remain behind at a separate location, just in case, God forbid, something happened to the president and the vice president and everything, and in case our system of government is jeopardized. So what this show, and that person is, quote unquote, the designated survivor. So what this show posits is that Kiefer Sutherland is the secretary of, whatever he is, and so he's the designated survivor, and something happens. And now what?
Right.
That's the premise of the show. And as you said, I kind of watched it just for Kiefer Sutherland, and I've only seen the pilot so far, but I'm intrigued.
Yeah. Well, all right. So I'm game. The premise alone is really interesting. So, yeah, I'm curious to check this out. I'm glad that you say so far so good.
So far so good. Yeah. So I'm leaving myself the option of opting out of my previous recommendation based on how things go. But that goes
Yeah.
that goes for any series.
Yeah.
But Brian, this is exactly the kind of cogent, cutting commentary that people expect from us. So I'm happy to provide that.
Yes.
Now, speaking of what people expect from us, I wanted to share a new review that was left for us on iTunes.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not sure, but I think in a previous life I may have killed this person's family or something.
Okay.
So this is a review left by a confused movie reviewer.
Okay. Is that their name?
No, sorry. That's the Confused Movie Reviews.
Okay.
Oh, I don't know where the name is. Anyway, it's by somebody who's confused.
Okay.
And here we go. The main host, Zaki, calls himself a, quote, professional critic, but consistently struggles with comprehending basic movie plots. He gets so confused and spends entire reviews complaining about how everything in the movie, quote, makes no sense. This is a guy who outright, unashamedly said in a movie review, and I quote, "What is happening in this movie? I don't understand any of this," unquote. Maybe this guy really isn't suited for reviewing movies. I'm no professional critic like him, but I've watched the same movies and had no problem understanding them, so these movies really aren't that confusing. Here's just... Oh, he continues, Brian. Here's just one example of Zaki being completely clueless. I just listened to Zaki complain about a scene. He says my name a lot, this guy. Complain about a scene in a movie because it made no sense to him that the scene would take place inside the character's house, except the scene he was describing didn't take place in the character's house at all. It was in an abandoned building. Absolutely nothing about the plot should have made anyone think it was the character's house. The character's house was indeed seen in the movie, but it was clearly in a completely different location and looked nothing like the abandoned building in the other scene. Was this guy not paying attention to the movie at all? Anyway, well, let's see what he says about you, Brian.
Uh-oh.
It can't be any worse. I don't like the co-host Brian much either. Oh, I'm sorry, Brian. But at least he's the more tolerable of the two. Oh, well, you're more tolerable.
Oh.
Just let Brian talk the whole time and leave Zaki out of it. Maybe I'd give this show 2 stars instead of just 1. Oh, man.
Well, you know...
Wait, there's more, Brian. Also, worst theme song for a podcast ever. Oh, my gosh.
I just have to say
He had
that
to
actually...
insult Sean Coyle on his way out the door.
It does feel good to have one of your comments read on the air. So... Yeah.
So we had to do some like digging here to figure out that the stuff this person is referring to is our Batman versus Superman episode,
Right.
which involved mostly just the two of us for 90 minutes just making merry sport of that movie.
Sure.
Now, during the course of that, I may and I will cop to this. I truly assumed that their fight occurred in the ruins of Wayne Manor.
I thought that was the case also.
Okay.
I know they hopped around a lot, and there was
Yes.
a part where they were in an abandoned warehouse, but I thought there was something special
The
about that
abandoned
place because
warehouse
they
is
focused
where
on it.
Martha Kent. I don't understand any of this. What's happening?
Why did you say that name, Zaki?
The abandoned warehouse is where Martha is being kept. I truly assumed that their fight was in Wayne Manor. Now, I don't know that I spent a lot of time talking about this in the review. I think I just mentioned it offhandedly. But clearly, we found this person's button.
Well, you know what? I think it's great because you read the positive and you read the negative. So
That's
we are an equal opportunity. Welcome, open to criticism, and we will pay closer attention to the structures that our superhero films take place in moving forward.
I have to say, I just thought it was hilarious to me. The guy was just going after me, which is totally fine. But then at the very end, I don't like Brian very much either.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think that was you deliberately, like you're covering your tracks.
Totally.
Lest it seem like your plot to dethrone me is
Yeah.
too apparent. Like, oh, by the way, and Brian sucks too.
Yeah, a little bit, but not that much.
And then again, at the very end, the little dig at our departed co-host Sean Coyle, who of course wrote and performed our theme song. By the way, F that guy too. So, folks, by all means, keep leaving. Even if it's a negative review, that's fine. If you can make it as entertaining as this, I'm totally down.
Yeah. I mean, I got to say, and I know this guy's probably coming from just wants to write something negative, but it is always nice hearing what people like and what they would like differently and what they respond to. I think it's helpful. So I always enjoy hearing what people think of the show.
Yeah, whatever.
I do.
Well, and we do have another review, and this is from NamTab29, and he says that, which is, by the way, Batman 29.
Oh.
It took me about 25 minutes to figure that out, by the way, which tells you how slow I am.
That's funny. I'm
like, NamTab. And then 20 minutes later, I'm driving Batman as I swerve into traffic. That's, Anyway, he says, this show is great. Hosts Zaki and Brian Hall have an easygoing rapport and deep knowledge of film, which makes for very enjoyable listening. There are a lot of film podcasts out there, but this is one of the best. Take a listen. You'll be back for more. I don't know why I read that one in the same angry. I just realized that. I was like, oh wait, I haven't switched characters here.
Yeah.
But thank you for that. So that's nice.
That's very nice. Yeah, thank you.
That's very nice. We also have a review from Moose Ninja, and he says these guys are hilarious and totally real. We are real. We keep it real. I appreciate that they try and see the best in things that don't work, but also aren't afraid to call out a crappy movie for being a crappy movie. It's hilariously honest, and I enjoy their little tangents into personal stories way more than I ever thought I would. Sorry. Also, the theme song sounds like one of those 1980s Alan Thicke arrangements.
It kind of does.
There you go. Makes it feel like it's just for me. I highly recommend this podcast to anyone that loves movies or even just watches them for fun. Well, there we go.
Oh, that was a nice one.
That was a nice one.
Yeah.
So we got two good ones to balance out the evil one.
You take the good, you take the bad.
You take them both, and there you have an Alan Thicke song.
Did he write that?
He did.
Did he really?
He did.
Dude, I didn't know that when I started that. It all
Seriously?
comes back. No.
Oh, wow, yeah. Alan Thicke, and it's performed by his former wife.
Get out of here. I had no idea.
Who is the mother of Robin Thicke.
Right.
Yeah. No, not Robin Wright. Robin Thicke. Okay, moving on. So we do have some headlines.
Yeah.
After that interlude. So, hey, speaking of Batman v Superman, Ben Affleck, who is the Batman of record, has some thoughts on the reaction to Batman v Superman.
Yeah, it's funny because it just feels like lately this is just sort of something that's happening in entertainment news or gossip news or whatever you want to call it, where it's putting people on the spot. I don't feel like it used to be like that. When you had shows like Entertainment Tonight and whatnot, you asked all these softball questions. And now it seems like people get this sort of thrill out of sitting an actor down and being like, so that movie of yours that just opened this last weekend did not do well and people did not like it. How do you feel about that? And then they're like, and they are forced to respond. And then, 30 minutes later, there's a GIF of Ben Affleck pondering, staring into the darkness as...
Come on. That sad Affleck video is one of the funniest things I've ever seen.
It's hilarious. It is absolutely hilarious. But it doesn't that feel like this is sort of new?
Well, it's weird to me. Okay, so a bit of context. You had this journalist, this is back when BVS first came out. And, Henry Cavill and Ben Affleck are out making the junket rounds. And so one of these guys, and I want to say this was in England.
Okay.
One of these guys so the reviews have come out, and if you remember, the reviews for that film were not kind. The reviews haven't been good. How do you respond to that? And as somebody who's been in these junket interviews, I'm always kind of like what response are you expecting from them?
Right.
Like that, I do these enough where, I always approach it I want to engage them in a way where they don't feel miserable having to do yet another junket interview.
Right.
And so again, it's like, what are they going to be like? Oh, the critics are right. The movie sucks. What are they going to say?
Yeah.
They're out there selling the movie. So all you're doing is putting them in an awkward spot with no, like, there's no upside there, you know?
Yeah.
And it's weird because I've had this conversation online where, I have friends who are actual journalists as opposed to entertainment journalists who are like, well, when you're in the, you have to ask these hard questions, you have to make them uncomfortable. And I'm like, these aren't politicians.
Yeah.
So it's not, like, if I don't know if you remember this, like back in 2015, some guy asked Robert Downey like these really uncomfortable questions.
I do remember that, yeah.
Right, and they ended up cutting it short. And I was like, what's the point of that?
Mm-hmm.
And one of my friends who is a journalist was like, well, that's what you got to do. You got to ask these questions. I'm like, well, I don't know. I'm an entertainment journalist. I don't view it that way. And I'm not saying, oh, you want to just ask ass-kissy questions. But I'm like, ask questions that will engage them in a way where you're going to illuminate something interesting about this thing that they made.
Right.
Even when I watch a film before a junket and I don't like the film, even then I'm always looking at it like, well, what's an angle I can take that'll bring out something interesting without me being like, so hey, your movie sucked. How do you respond to me saying that?
Yeah, there's an approach, and then there is also the people out there who are just searching for that moment, sort of like a paparazzi, where they say the most horrid things to these people, like celebrities, because they want a response, because that's how they're going to make their money, is getting,
like these TMZ guys.
Yeah, like getting Chris Pratt to flip you off or something. Like you push and push and push until you get the thing. You create that moment.
Right.
By, being mean to somebody. So, right. I mean, there's a fine line, and I do think it's a valid question to ask Ben Affleck, like, well, you're kickstarting into this thing, and some people are for it and some people aren't so sure yet, and as it continues, how do you feel about that? Like, there's a way to frame that.
Yes.
But yeah, sometimes it's just awkward, and I just feel like the more on the spot, aha kind of questions that happen, it just feels like that's sort of a new thing.
Well, see, but
in this realm.
Right. And so he's being asked about it now. He's out promoting The Accountant. Mm-hmm. Which looks great, by the way.
Yeah, it does.
But and I feel like the distance of several months, whatever it is now, 6 months later, that can allow for, can you assess it now with the benefit of without being in the middle of it, what are your thoughts on that? And I feel like that could allow for an interesting conversation. Mm-hmm. Right?
Yeah. And then, by the way, what we just talked about was basically just a tangent of something that I was sort of thinking. I mean, this guy I didn't actually see the question, just a response, but Affleck had a pretty nice response.
That's right, and that's my point. Is now he has enough water under the bridge to be able to assess it with a slightly higher degree of objectivity.
Right.
Well, I mean, I'll just you want me to read the quote here?
Sure.
So essentially, he's asked by Fox's Kevin McCarthy, what did you think of the response to the film? And he says, it's interesting. It was a huge hit movie. So many more people went to see that than any movie I've made in my career. It was the biggest hit of my career, and then it had so much editorial negativity. Fans went, and I got a lot of positive response. It was interesting, that movie, because it was judged not necessarily on execution so much as like its tone. People seem to want to have a lighter tone to the movie, and I thought that was interesting because that's so subjective. Tone is not a qualitative thing, it's a subjective, right? Mm-hmm. Some tones resonate with me that might not with you, and the tone of the movie was really parallel to the Frank Miller book, The Dark Knight Returns, which I liked and thought was great. I'm glad that so many people went and so many people liked the movie. That's a good response.
I thought that was a good response, yeah.
And what I like about that is if you are in engaging in an interview, that gives a jump-off point where you can also... there's room for digressing from that and getting something really interesting. Mm-hmm. I also like that it wasn't we made it for the fans. Because I'm just tired of that.
Yeah, that seems to be, like a sort of...
critics don't like it, but
response.
Fans are effing morons, and they'll eat whatever crap we shovel in their face.
Right.
And I think... This is just my assumption, but I think he's also coming at it from a place where he knows that even with the critical lambasting, the overwhelming majority of the brickbats were not aimed at him.
Yeah, no, that's
You
good.
know?
That's a good point.
And the other aspect of this is that his degree of control over the films he's involved in has been elevated.
Mm-hmm.
Right? I mean, he's a producer on Justice League. He's of course doing The Batman, which that's the title for his solo movie.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Which, by the way, I love how like high and dry we are for internet news sometimes. That is like just a thing. It's going to be called The Batman. Okay,
It's like makes sense.
there's a definite article in the title.
Yeah.
So I think there's a little bit of that. I mean, the response to the Justice League trailer has been generally positive.
Mm-hmm.
Which, by the way, and maybe it's just because it's right now, but it really does feel like Zack Snyder is persona non grata, even though he's directing the Justice League movie.
Yeah, that's got to be sort of an uncomfortable spot to be in.
They've like shoved him in a closet, and they've basically let Jeff Johns and Ben Affleck be the face and voice of that movie.
Yeah.
That's what it feels like. Maybe, I mean, I'm sure he'll be more out there when the movie comes out.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I'm sure.
But it does feel like Justice League is him, with one foot out the door.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I thought that was kind of interesting.
Yeah. Yeah. Looking forward to it. I mean, because before Batman v Superman came out, we could picture it because we know what Zack Snyder does, and that's no critique of him. That's just we know what he does. And Justice League, while it may have a few more jokes in it, I can already sort of picture the sound and the look and the whatever. So I am very much looking forward to what Ben Affleck's going to do with the Batman. Like, is it going to try to feel similar, or is he just going to... I mean, obviously it'll have to exist in the same world, but I'm just curious with a different filmmaker who has, his own sensibilities and has proven himself as a talented, capable filmmaker. What's that going to... It's like it's almost in a way going to be like a new Batman movie.
Yeah, well, here's why I'm excited
Hopefully.
to see it, because I'm excited to see a superhero movie from the director of The Town.
Yes, and you know what? As I was trying to spit those words out of my mouth to try to explain Ben Affleck as a director, I was picturing the movie The Town.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's exciting to me because I don't think the kind of highly stylized approach that Zack Snyder takes is really... That's not really part of Affleck's vernacular as a director.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know that that's something I don't think he's interested in emulating that.
Right.
We know from what we've seen of him that he has a particular style, and I don't say that in a negative sense. He has an approach to making movies, and I'm interested in seeing that approach applied to a Batman movie.
Completely agree.
Yeah. So that's pretty cool. And then I saw a funny meme like Jason Momoa, posted something on Instagram where it's like he's like shirtless and crazy ripped, and
right.
It's because they finished filming Justice League, but somebody took that and they juxtaposed that with a picture of Aquaman from like the 1960s cartoon show where he's like riding a seahorse or something.
Yeah.
And somebody's like R.I.P. Aquaman jokes. And it's like 19 whatever to 2016.
Yeah.
And it's like nobody's going to make fun of Aquaman now after Jason Momoa. It's pretty funny.
Yeah.
I'm hoping. I'm an Aquaman fan. I've always been an Aquaman fan. Even when other people made fun of him, I didn't.
Yeah.
So I would like to see him not be made fun of because I think he's awesome.
Yeah. I'm really curious about that one on its own.
That's James Wan is doing that, right? No, who's doing that? No, sorry. Who's directing?
Actually, I thought it was.
Is it James Wan?
I thought so.
Hold on.
Cue joke about...
Yes.
Yeah.
It is.
IMDb at our fingertips.
I know. It is James Wan.
Yeah.
So I'm I've said this before on this show. I think out of all the DC Expanded Universe movies, that's the one I'm most looking forward to.
Nice.
But also another movie coming up, and this one, I should say that the announcement of this is surprising, but it's totally not surprising. And this is that Disney is doing a live-action version of The Lion King.
Yeah.
But I think a more accurate description would be they're doing another animated version of The Lion King.
It's just funny, right? Because there are no humans in that story.
Right.
So they will all be animated.
Now this is going to be directed by Jon Favreau, who has some experience with computer animated animals because he just did The Jungle Book, which you and I both loved.
Yep.
So the fact that they're doing that, and Jon Favreau, nothing surprising there. But again, the fact that they're calling it live action is like, no, it's not live action at all.
No, because even if they're doing the same thing as they did with The Jungle Book, it was all the only thing that was real in that movie was the boy. Like even the settings, like it's not like they actually went outside.
Right.
You know, so I'm really curious. It's weird because I mean, The Lion King is one of those special Disney movies for me. I assume it is for you.
Yes.
My first thought was like, are you out of your mind?
Sure.
But then when they said
I agree with you.
Well, and then when they said that Jon Favreau was doing it, you're like, well, all right, well, you know what I mean? Like he did a really, really good job with The Jungle Book. It's just obviously he wouldn't go into this unless he knew what he was doing, and we seem to like what he does. It's just hard to picture, I guess, currently.
Yeah, I mean it's like you said. Like I'll give it a shot just because it's Jon Favreau.
Right.
So okay. But yeah, it's weird. Is it just because we grew up with The Lion King in a way we didn't with The Jungle Book that we feel more possessive of it?
That thought was just passing through my mind as you said it, because I knew The Jungle Book, but really more for the songs than I did the actual film.
Right.
And The Lion King I know, right? Like I can hear Simba's voice in my head because I know that character so well. So it's going to be weird. It feels like unnecessary, but at the same time, like I don't know what they can add or take away, and obviously we want the songs. I mean, that's half of the appeal of that movie, I think. So I don't know. I'm just curious what that interpretation is going to be like.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure it'll be totally fine. But I'm reflexively, I don't know. I'm kind of like you've told, like, The Lion King to me is serious in a way that The Jungle Book isn't.
Yeah, sure.
The animated ones of both, you know?
Yeah.
So I'm kind of like, how can you serious this up more? Like, like there's more pathos in the animated Lion King than, for example, in The Jungle Book.
The story of The Jungle Book.
Yeah.
You know what, though? I'm starting to picture it in my head. It could be kind of cool. The hyenas, going through the Badlands.
I almost don't want to see Mufasa die in live action.
Yeah.
Or realistic CGI, because the animated version is heartbreaking enough.
And it's such a good story, though. And then he grows up and becomes a man and faces down Scar. I don't know. I mean, well, that's just, you know why I'm getting excited is because it's just a good story.
It's a great story that they ripped off completely from this Japanese cartoon called Kimba.
Seriously?
You didn't know that?
No.
Yeah, you don't remember that Simpsons with when Bleeding Gums Murphy dies?
Yeah, no, I remember that.
And he's like, I'll always be here, Simba.
Get out of here. That was a burn?
Yeah, it was a burn.
I did not know that.
Yeah, so I growing up in Saudi Arabia, they used to show this cartoon all the time called Kimba the White Lion. Mm-hmm. And it's about a little. He's white. He's like a white lion, but his father's the king. His name is Caesar, and he's killed by the father is killed by his uncle, who I'm pretty sure his name is Scar.
No,
if I'm not mistaken, I'd have to double check that.
Huh?
But I mean, it's the exact same thing.
Yeah.
There's too much similarity for it to not be a ripoff.
Wow, that's funny that The Simpsons even called them out on it.
Yeah, exactly. That's it's a Japanese show, so it was an animated show. But yeah, if you go to in fact, I'm at the Wikipedia page here for this, and there's for Kimba the White Lion, and there's actually a subhead about the Lion King controversy.
Interesting.
Listen to this. Matthew Broderick has said that when he was hired as the voice of adult Simba in The Lion King, he presumed the project was related to Kimba the White Lion. And this is the quote. I thought he meant Kimba, who was a white lion in a cartoon when I was a kid. So I kept telling everybody I was going to play Kimba. I didn't really know anything about it, but I didn't really care. So,
well, anyway, I still like it.
The director of The Lion King said he was unfamiliar with the show, which I find hard to believe because the similarities are so pronounced.
Well, the director could be somewhat unaware of it, but there's kind of a story team. Someone was aware of it.
So somebody somewhere was, yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, and that doesn't mean The Lion King isn't great, but somebody should credit Kimba at some point.
Right.
So when is that coming out, by the way? Do we know?
Don't see it.
Yeah, I don't see anything.
Yeah, I'm sure it's pretty far out.
Beauty and the Beast is the next one.
Yes.
This I love how Disney is able to find revenue streams where none existed before.
Oh man, I know.
Now they're late. It's like, oh, let's take our old cartoons and make them live action.
Yeah.
Here we go. New fountain of money.
Yeah, in Mulan.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it keeps the hits keep coming.
Uh-huh.
From them. And speaking of hits from Disney, Star Wars news time, Brian.
See? I started playing it. You didn't even have to ask.
That's pretty good. I'm impressed. It's
Well,
very catchy, that music.
I like it.
Yeah.
So, we are going to talk about Force Friday because that's a thing that happened. But I'm going to admit my ignorance to Force Friday because I don't really follow the merchandise so much.
Right.
So now this is an event where they make like a midnight, stampede sort of event for the toys of the film that's about to come out, right?
Yes, that's correct.
So this would be Rogue One toys have just been released.
Yeah, I wasn't fully aware of it. I happened to stop into a Toys R Us on Friday, not because of Force Friday, but I needed to pick up a gift, and I see all these new Rogue One toys, and I was like, oh. So I looked at the action figures, and I was like, okay.
Yeah, and yeah, lest I sound like I'm coming off too cool for school. Anytime I go to Target, I take my regular stroll down the Star Wars aisle just to take in what is it? It's a routine for me. And then also I do love the Legos.
Yes.
I can't afford the bigger sets, but every now and then I'll treat myself to one of the smaller, miniature Millennium Falcons or X-Wings or whatnot. So I do like my little corner of the Star Wars toy universe.
Well, I haven't bought any action figures or anything like that, but I enjoy looking at them just to see what's coming up.
Yeah, for sure.
I love, by the way, that they have the new all the new merchandising, and I sent you a picture of this. The tie-in, they have a tie-in novel for Rogue One, and it's called Star Wars Catalyst, a Rogue One novel. And I'm like, I love that it's a Rogue One novel of a Star Wars story. So really, it should have been Star Wars Catalyst, a Rogue One novel, a Star Wars story.
Right.
And they should just keep slicing the apple thinner and thinner. So it's like, a Catalyst short story, and then whatever, digression, and just keep going.
Yeah, that's funny.
Now, all of this stuff is canon. Everything is canon now.
Yeah, it's funny how that keeps being mentioned, right? It's like if some new show comes out or some new little offshoot book, it's like always like, which is canon. Almost
I
like
was
it's
going
like
to ask you, I mean, does that make you more or less interested in consuming it?
Pre all this stuff coming out, more interested. Post, I don't really pay attention to it.
Why is that?
I think at first, I was never one for the expanded universe, and that's not to knock it. I just didn't read it. I'm not familiar with it.
Yeah.
And as I got older and didn't pay much attention to it, that's sort of how I saw it. It was like, oh, these people decided to extend the stories, but they weren't necessarily Lucas sanctioned or approved. So that's cool that that's out there for people or whatever. But then as new Star Wars, I mean, when the announcement was made that they're going to make new Star Wars, that was crazy. Like, we thought the story was done. So when they're like, new Star Wars is happening, I was like, oh my gosh, what's it going to be? And they're like, and not only is there going to be a movie, there's going to be books that fill in gaps and that expand the thing that's coming and that's already been, and it's all canon. And I'm like, oh, all right. So this is all like firmly planted on the ground. This is like a solid structure here that's all going to be attached to the thing that I love. So it was just sort of like this. They're like breadcrumbs. Let's put it that way. They're like breadcrumbs. Yeah. And then the first one came out, which I don't recall what it was titled, but people did not like it.
Yes.
Apparently Aftermath, yes, which was supposed to fill in after Return of the Jedi, pre-Force Awakens, and it was not received very well. And that, took a little wind out of my sails. And then it's just some of the other books were just like whatever. And so then I just sort of was like, oh, now it's just starting to feel like, oversaturation a little bit.
Yeah, see, for me, where I'm at, like the question of canon or whatever, that's just thrown out there as an olive branch, if you will, to the diehard fans, because what we know, having consumed this stuff and knowing how the industry works, is whether it's canon or not, we know is irrelevant. We know for certain that anything in the books or the comic books is not important.
Yeah, sure.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, that's just a fact. So anything that appears in the books is utterly superfluous to you being able to consume the movies by themselves.
Right.
So all the novels are going to do is add texture around the edges.
Right.
But, I mean, you can't be like, for the resolution of this key, conflict here, pick up this novel. No, but it's not going to work.
Well, I wouldn't necessarily expect that. Actually, I'd be annoyed if that was the case, right?
Yeah.
But it would be nice if there were other stories that took place in a world that I cared about, that maybe some characters passed through that I like, that were good stories.
Well, I mean, I think that the Star Wars comic book from Marvel does that.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's we've used this analogy before, maybe, but I mean, it's kind of like Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. As it pertains to the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Mm-hmm.
Like, is it canon? Yes. Is it important? No.
Right.
We know that by virtue of the way that show is constructed, nothing important can happen on the show because the movies are what people watch and the show is something that exists.
Right.
It's kind of the same thing.
Right.
This is the essential problem with trying to make a shared universe, is that you're going to have different levels of engagement based on the artifact that's being created.
Yeah. And
you have to account for that. It's not one size fits all. Oh, and there's a new Rogue One trailer is going to hit soon in front of Doctor Strange.
Doctor Strange, yeah. Apparently it's gonna. Oh yeah, go ahead.
Well, as if we needed more reason to want to watch Doctor Strange.
Yeah, already excited about that one. But yeah, looking forward to the Rogue One trailer, because I feel like we had talked about the last one that came out during the Olympics. I liked it a lot, but it still felt more like a sizzle reel than a film trailer. Like,
yes,
and it's not like I don't know what the plot of the movie is. I do, but I want a little more.
Right.
I'm already there, so I think they know that, but I don't know. I'd like to see a little. I obviously, with the Force Awakens, I know they said that they really essentially didn't show more than anything from the first act in the trailer.
Right.
That's cool. You know what I mean? Like, set up these guys a little bit and.
Well, we're going to get at least one Darth Vader money shot in this next trailer.
Yeah, without a doubt.
You can virtually count on that. But beyond that, I'm not sure how much I want to see from it, to be honest. I mean,
Yeah, I guess, I don't know. I don't know what I want. I just want to see the movie.
Yeah, well, it's almost here. I mean, it's kind of crazy.
Yeah.
And then before you know it, we'll be talking about episode 8.
I know. It's so weird. It's weird because this is going to be a big movie and everyone's going to go, but I feel like you're not feeling the fervor like we were a year ago.
So are you telling me we've already it's just not the same now?
I don't think it can be like
Sure.
that for sure. But
Well, honestly, though, I'll tell you something. I feel excited for Rogue One the way I feel excited about Doctor Strange, where I'm like, hey, new MCU movie. I'm excited.
oh, interesting. See, I'm more excited for Star Wars than I am, because that still feels like we have so many Marvel movies now.
See, I'm gonna be way more excited for Episode 8, but the excitement level I have for Rogue One is
I
to
gotcha.
me MCU excitement. Where I'm like, I know the team involved, and I'm assuming it'll be good. You know, and certainly with MCU movies, we now have such a solid baseline. We know pretty much what to expect in terms of enjoyment.
Mm-hmm.
So granted, we don't have that necessarily as yet with Star Wars, but I mean, you know, we know the people making these movies. It's, you know,
Yeah.
it's not gonna be bad.
Right.
Hopefully, like even with all the red flags about Gareth Edwards made a movie that's too dark or whatever. I mean, it's not gonna be a disaster. They won't let it be a disaster.
No.
So, you know. But hey, did you see this? Speaking of Lucasfilm, did you see this Indiana Jones short film that somebody made? An animated short.
I did. This was interesting.
It's not official.
No, but by that same token, this is an artist. I had him. Do you have his name? I had it in front of me.
don't.
I lost it. Patrick Schoenmaker, I want to say. He was commissioned by Lucas years ago to create art of Indiana Jones. So he made this sort of old school 2D, I mean, it almost feels Disney-esque
Yes.
version of Indiana Jones. And so there were these still images years ago that you could find, you know, on his page or whatnot. But he decided he wanted to take it further, and he ended up making what feels like, I think it's about 1 minute and 15 seconds, and it feels like the opening of an animated series, right? Where Indy's getting thrust from location to location as he's jumping and being punched and whatnot. And it's just, I mean, it is just so on point, right? I mean, if you were to come up with an animated Indiana Jones cartoon, this is what you would wish it would be. The look is just so great. What'd you think?
Yeah, you know, I watched it and I was blown away by it, and I was reminded of how a few weeks ago we were talking about the planned Ghostbusters animated movie.
Yeah.
And we were both like, really? Is there an audience? Like, would you want to see that? You know?
Yeah.
And we were both commenting on how, like, that the idea of doing a live action, non-humorous, non-cartoonish, you know?
Mm-hmm.
An animated, sorry, not live action, an animated non-cartoonish adventure movie.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it didn't feel like there was a big market for that.
Yeah.
But I'd watch the shit out of this.
Yeah. Yeah. It looks pretty great. So I highly recommend people go
to
check it out.
YouTube. It's Adventures of Indiana Jones.
Yeah. Oh, here it is. Yeah, Patrick Schoenmaker.
There you go. You had it right.
Yeah.
And we do have some trailers to discuss, Brian.
We do.
So, go ahead.
Are you ready to talk about the Fast 8 trailer?
I'm not especially.
Oh, really? Why not?
I don't know. I'm not super excited about Fast 8.
Oh, seriously? I wasn't prepared for this. Well, I was going to make a joke that it was announced today that the trailer will be available 3 months from now.
Yeah, I saw that.
I was like, okay.
That makes me even less excited. Like, I'm like, why would you think we need 90 days notice?
Yeah. Which is funny because actually going back to our last episode when we were talking about Ghost in the Shell, remember they had like 6 10-second trailers and we're like, no, we're not watching that.
Yes.
So after the show, I watched them. They're kind of cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You've betrayed our principles, Brian.
Yes.
Have they dropped the full trailer for that yet?
No. And apparently they're not going to for a while. I think during an episode of Mr. Robot recently, they showed these little 10-second glitches during the commercial breaks, which was sort of a unique, special thing they had to get permission to do, which people seem to respond to pretty positively. So in a way, I think it made me look at it in a different way. I was like, okay, look, you're trying to get attention. How do you get attention these days with this sorts of thing? Everything's been done. I was like, okay, like They went for it, and I didn't fall for it immediately. They kind of turned me off, but reading that later, I was like, I get it. You got to try something.
Okay, fair enough. they won
I thought you were going to
over.
be like, yeah, I see what you're saying, but you're like, okay, Brian, old man Brian. And your views, you and your views.
You and your antiquated views. No,
Anyway.
I get it. I mean, you know, I just the whole notion of trailers for trailers, I feel like we're sort of through the looking glass a little bit.
What is the deal with when you start a trailer on YouTube now? There's like a 5-second teaser before the trailer starts.
I was wondering about that. I'm wondering if there's something about, like, you know, to give it a chance to boot up or something. I don't know.
Either that or people don't have the attention span to wait through the green approved for all audiences thing, and they're like, you will see this in 30 seconds.
It's not even 30 seconds. It's like 5 seconds.
Yeah, I don't know.
Well, anyway, so they dropped the teaser trailer for Pirates of the Caribbean 5, The Search for Who Gives a Crap. I think that's what it's called, right?
Yeah. No.
What is the subtitle for this
Dead
one?
Men Tell No Tales.
Yeah, whatever. Dead men don't give a crap. So what was noticeable? Well, do we want to play some of the audio from this?
Sure.
All right, here we go.
Jack Sparrow. Do you know this pirate?
Only by name.
Find Sparrow for me and relay a message from Capitan Salazar and tell him death will come straight for him. Would you say that to him, please?
So I don't know. I can't bring myself to care about this.
Yeah,
And I don't think anybody else does either, by the way. I think even fans of these movies don't care anymore.
But you know what? The fourth one, I thought everyone felt that way, and it still made $1 billion. And not even like $1 billion in like Marvel 2 years ago money. I mean, like several years ago, $1 billion.
Here's my prediction, and if I'm wrong, I will gladly accept the punishment for this. But I think that Pirates 5 will be a massive flop.
I will see that. I'll see you there, and I'm gonna say the opposite. I don't think it's going to be a massive hit, but I don't think it's going to be an Alice in Wonderland sort of situation.
Okay.
I don't think anyone cares about any character in Alice in Wonderland. I think people still kind of like Jack Sparrow.
See, I'm wondering if Johnny Depp has sort of burned off a lot of goodwill.
That is a good point.
Not only because he's been in so many flops, but obviously the stuff going on in his personal life too.
Yeah, that's a good point. I will say with this trailer, though, I don't even know why I clicked on it, because I didn't really have a lot of interest in it, but I did, and I was surprised to see that instead of showcasing like a ton of special effects, which I don't care about at all, you know, like looking at like a cutscene from a video game, you know, whatever. It was just this like little piece, showcase piece for Javier Bardem as the villain.
Right.
Like basically a minute and a half of him showboating as this sort of creepy monster villain. And I was like, oh.
That's what I'm saying. I think Johnny Depp has so thoroughly messed up his audience goodwill that they're trying to hide him from the audience now.
Well, that's bad news, because that's all this movie's got.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it has Orlando Bloom.
Oh.
So, you know.
So Katy Perry will be there.
There you go.
But
so that's next summer.
Next summer, yeah.
So yeah, there you go. Anyway, this trailer, I'm actually surprised by how much I found it appealing. This is Get Out,
and
it's the new horror movie directed by horror master of horror, Jordan Peele.
Right.
Didn't see that one coming, did you?
No.
Here, let's play some of the audio from this.
Do you smoke in front of my daughter?
I'm gonna quit.
She'd take care of that for you.
How?
Hypnosis.
I'm good, actually.
You ready for this?
How bad can it be?
So look, I go do my research.
Apparently, a whole bunch of brothers been missing in this suburb. But it's cool. Bro, how you not scared of this, man?
So, what do you think about this?
Well, it's going to take me a second. It's interesting because we know Jordan Peele as half of Key and Peele, and he's really funny, kind of stoner sensibility a little bit, and just really bizarro, broad comedy. But this is, I kept waiting for the punchline.
Yes.
But this looks like a, $5 million Blumhouse horror movie. But the setup is just so unexpected, right?
Yes.
It starts off as sort of like a guess who's coming to dinner situation where you have an African-American guy who's dating a white girl, and she's going to introduce him to her parents, and you're like, oh, so that's what this is. But then there's like a weird, almost sort of Stepford Wives sort of feel to the parents and to the town. And then he starts noticing that there's no other, black people around. And then he starts seeing other people and being like, oh, hey, it's nice to see another black guy in town. And then they seem like they've been brainwashed.
Yeah.
And you're waiting for like the release, like the humor, the like, oh, this is silly, but it never gets silly. It just gets creepier and creepier.
Right.
And it does one of those things where, trailers sometimes, sort of The Accountant did this, where they actually take noises from the film and start to make some sort of unnerving rhythm out of it.
Yeah.
And they did that with this one. And I just thought, oh, so in another way, I'm sort of like, well, there's like a style to this. Like, this isn't just like some sort of like horror film. Like, he's actually trying to create tension in sort of a stylish, high-minded way here. And it just, I didn't know what to make of it.
Well, I watched the trailer and I'm just like, man, Bradley Cooper. First of all, Bradley Cooper looks super old.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
And both Catherine Keener. But I'm like, what's their deal? Like, what's going on?
Yeah,
And
I if this was on TV tonight, like after that trailer, and it was like put in front of me, I would definitely watch it.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of like, well, I mean, I'm not a big horror movie person, but I love Jordan Peele, so I want this to do well, just because I'd like him to have a new career as a director.
Yeah, 100%. And it's funny because I don't like horror much either, but when I say that, I don't like slasher films.
Right.
But I do like to be creeped out, like a good creepy movie. Like I love The Shining and things like that. And this looks
you're not a Blair Witch guy?
I like the Blair Witch. Yeah. I think now it's a little bit more of an interesting artifact than a movie I probably still enjoy, but I enjoyed it in the day. The new one, no.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, well, nobody did.
Yeah. Yeah, I didn't see it, but yeah, I think that would be more in my wheelhouse. Yeah, sort of like a what's going on, creepy sort of movie. I like those. So
yeah,
this looks interesting.
Should be good, and that one is out in February of next year.
Yeah.
And with that, I think that wraps up our conversation for this episode, Brian.
Nice.
Wow.
How'd we do?
I think we did okay.
Oh, all right.
I guess we'll find out if we have another angry email or review left for us. I guess we're fingers crossed that we don't have that happen.
Huh.
But we do have some fun stuff coming up in our next episode, and I hope you guys will come back and check that out. But as we wrap things up, Brian, where can people find you if they're reaching out for you outside of this show?
Well, like we say, I work at the television show Bob's Burgers, and that is back. And there's a new episode airing this Sunday. What is it? The frickin' 9th? Yeah. October 9th. And I also write for the Bob's Burgers comic book, which my issue is currently in stores right now. And I think it's fun and you may enjoy it. So check it out.
And as for me, I'm at my blog, zakiscorner.com. That's ZAKIS Corner. That's also my Twitter handle and also my Instagram handle. You can also find me at the Huffington Post, where my movie reviews go up regularly, as does this show, as does the Nostalgia Theater Show. I want to thank everybody for checking out recent episodes of the Nostalgia Theater Podcast. Got some fun ones coming up this month I think you will enjoy, so please subscribe to that show at iTunes as well as this show at iTunes if you haven't done that already. Also, as I ask you each and every episode, please go to iTunes, leave us a review, leave us a star rating, let people know what you think. If you want to reach out to us, you can find us at our Facebook page, facebook.com/moviefilmpodcast, or you can email us at moviefilmpodcast@gmail.com. With that, My name is Zaki Hassan, and on behalf of my best pal Brian Hall, this has been episode 104 of the Movie Film Show. We'll be back in 2 weeks. Thanks for listening.
Welcome, friends, it's the Movie Film Podcast.